Hey guys, this is Impact Hall of Famer Gail Kim, and you are watching the Countdown City WrestleCast.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Countdown City WrestleCast. I'm your host, JC, joined this week by Tommy.
Yo.
And we got Mike.
I'm Mike. I love wrestling, and Cesaro still does stuff sometimes.
You could say, like Roxy and Death Before Dishonor. Love
there you go. I'll go with that one.
Like Indy Hartwell and Dexter Loomis. Like Indy Hartwell
Love
and Dexter
always
Loomis.
wins. Hey, there
we
you
go.
There you go.
Thanks for picking me up today, guys.
Congrats on the two of them having a wedding that did not involve any crazy drama in wrestling weddings. Those never go so well.
But it finished on the right note.
It finished on the right note. If we're a little late getting started because we were just trying to watch the end of that with NXT 2.0. I hate that I have to say 2.0. I think it's so stupid. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Real quick.
Yes.
How do you call 2.0 but you fired the 2.0 guys you could have had while you were calling it 2.0? You had 2.0! You had 2.0! And you fired them like a month before you changed
Okay, Tommy, honest question. If you made Vince McMahon watch AEW and say, hey, Vince, name all the wrestlers we've hired before, besides Punk and Bryan, which ones would he honestly, maybe Dustin Rhodes?
Maybe Adam
Be like, wait,
Cole.
was that Goldust?
He might recognize Adam Cole, maybe.
I doubt it.
Maybe. Well, I doubt it as well. What's
Wait.
up, Bernsey? How's it going? Among other things, I'm sure there's going to be some ranting going on about some of the decisions that WWE has made. Some good,
No,
some bad, and some they
never.
might have changed. Who knows? But
From
the
us? No.
yeah, the majority of this show today, we're going to be
WWE
recapping.
marked.
Lies. We're going to be recapping Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor, and previewing Impact Victory Road. Yes, there is an Impact Plus show this weekend, and some other stuff coming up on the way for Impact as well. Some of the stuff I teased that I want to talk about, we'll get to as well, because we did see the reappearance of the Demon on Friday on
I
SmackDown.
want to talk about I thought you meant like the Titans or something.
No. That's
Wrong podcast.
That's tomorrow. Once I'm fully
Okay.
calmed down. If I talk about it now, I might still rant and rave, but tomorrow we record Sports Minorities. Yeah, you'll hear that. So,
Oh, man.
for those that don't know, if you're a football fan, if you're a sports fan, buddies and I are doing an audio podcast now called The Sports Minorities. Find it wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple Music, all that stuff.
Man,
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have to listen to that.
Yeah, go listen.
And JC, what happens if you ever get Mike, your brother-in-law Mikey, on the show?
Well, he is originally from Canada, so technically I guess that counts.
Oh.
And,
All right. I was about
he
to
is
check that.
and he is a Giants fan, but maybe when we get to hockey season, I'll probably be talking to him a little bit more.
Well, that's a minority in Texas.
Talk a little hockey, eh? Yeah. So, yeah, hockey fans are few and far in between. We are few and far in between, especially south of Dallas. So, anyway, on to wrestling, on to this past weekend, on to Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor. I will note that I've only seen a handful of matches off of this show. Mike and Tommy have seen the whole thing, so when we do get to the rating portion of it, they're going to be the ones giving a full rating because they're the only honest guys that can. But if you did happen to see it, and I'm waiting for B Ninja to get in there because I know he watched it because he was all over social media talking about it, so I know he saw it live. And I know a lot of wrestlers in Texas saw it live because I've seen pictures of a group of guys huddled around watching it on their phones for one match in particular. Let's just go ahead and talk about it. Roxy, 19-year-old.
I'm sorry.
But that was a hell of an opener, though. It was a good opener.
That was a good one. I did see that one because it's Dalton Castle. I had to watch that one, right? Excuse me. 19-year-old Roxy makes history. The first Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. Completes the tournament where she took out Sumi Sakai, Angelina Love, among other people. And a hell of a match with Miranda Alize.
Yep.
Wow. This has made headlines, obviously, in her hometown. She's the first Laredoan to win a major title in any big major wrestling promotion, male or female. And she's also the first Laredoan to sign with a major wrestling promotion as well. As we mentioned last week, she officially signed a contract. So
Good for her.
Big news for a 19-year-old woman from a small town, from a border town, who had a dream for wrestling and made it happen, and it's pretty damn cool to see. But guys, the match itself, the crowd was obviously in Roxy's corner. They wanted to see her win. I know these two had wrestled before, so technically now it's 1-1 because they did wrestle in Booker T's promotion, ROW. So, guys, thoughts on the match, thoughts on Roxy's win, and what y'all feel about it? Whoever wants to go first.
I can go first.
ahead, Tommy.
I thought it was the right call because it was like you said, the crowd behind her. I mean, either one actually would have been great because I think Miranda Alizé would have been a great heel champion. But for the feel good story and everything, it's kind of like when Sumi Sakai won the Women of Honor belt originally. It's like the feel good part of the story. So I think Miranda Alizé, I think she signed a deal too.
Yeah, I think
so.
so.
They both have now.
Yeah, I think she signed a deal too. So I think she'll probably get a rematch somewhere down the line. But I thought it was a great match for them both to look strong because it's not like she dominated Alizé. She kind of beat her with a quick pin, and Alizé kind of kept like, what the hell? So I thought it was a great match.
I agree. And before we kind of talk about all of it, like I have to admit, ROH is not something I've kept up with more recently. Then I watched a show and I was like, why don't I? Because it was solid top to bottom, and then this match was great. I felt so bad because the whole time we were doing the picks, I was like, Miranda Elise. And then I watched the show and it's like Alizé. I was like, that's what I meant.
But to be fair, I mispronounced it too, and that's my fault. I do apologize for that in the past.
But no, it was a great match. It was awesome that they were both from Texas. They brought that up on the show, just talking about the hotbed of Texas wrestling. When she first came out, Alizé, got to admit, I was a little hyped for the lucha mask and stuff. But I think she played the heel in the match really well. Roxy has such a natural likability as the babyface. And I'm sure part of it has to do because she's so young. But she's got that fight, that kind of Rey Mysterio fight, the underdog who won't give up. And it played out as a great match. And you're right, it was kind of a quick pin after a lot of, some back and forth things. And it almost looked like Alizé kicked out at like 3.5.
Yeah.
I think that'll be, I think they'll play into that it was so close. And you said, I think she'll get her rematch soon down the line.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing to see. Obviously, I didn't see it live. I'm catching matches here and there afterward. But the way this blew up on social media was awesome. The moment she had with her mom and her stepfather, who made the trip,
that was really cool.
There in the crowd, getting in the ring, the streamers flying around. I thought that was really awesome. And even then, to see such a young Texan who can't legally drink alcohol to celebrate this win, but...
I mean, legally, but it's also Texas.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, right? I would love to see her bring that championship belt back to her hometown of Laredo, take it to a Taco Palenque or Danny's somewhere where all the good food is, and I wonder how much of a local celebrity she'll be there. Go ahead, Tom.
I'm just amazed because I remember like when she was like first starting, and I would hear her name off and on places, and they were like saying, "Oh, Roxy's coming," and I had friends who had seen her before I did, like wrestle live, and I got to see her, and like this was like really early into the whole 17 sensation thing that she was doing at the time when she was 17, and she was green, but not like bad. Just just like you could tell she had stuff to work on.
Not like Eva Marie after 7 years or whatever.
First of all, sir, I do not know who that person is because we're talking about wrestling right now, so I've never heard of this person.
Oh, sorry, it's a good point.
but no,
he's talking about the jobber that Dewdrop squashed on Raw. That's what he's talking about.
Oh, yeah. That shit. Okay, my bad. I was completely forgetting.
Yeah,
okay,
people forget. Yeah,
but
I wish they would.
Yeah, seriously. But it was like she was green, but she had it to me. I was like, okay, if she's because at 17, I'm like, this could be just like a thing she wants to try. If she doesn't stick with it, there's nothing wrong with that. At 17, God knows I wasn't getting in the ring, and my mother would never have signed off on it. But I was like, if she sticks with it, she could really be great. If she doesn't, she doesn't. But I was like, I never wanted to tell her, like, oh, you're great, you should stick with it, because what if she doesn't want to? But now seeing her at this level, it's like I don't know who was encouraging her, who was pushing her, but I'm glad they did because to see her like go from like at heavy metal shows where like maybe 70 people crowded into that bar to see her to now on a pay-per-view and like the semi-main event. It's pretty awesome. And they honestly, no offense to the main event, this could have ended the show.
Yeah.
This could have been the end of the show.
It could have.
I mean, who knows? If Ring of Honor goes back to Madison Square Garden, it'd be pretty crazy for her to be wrestling there too. And you imagine that crowd
I
would be
see
pretty
Roxy at Madison Square Garden. I might pass out.
Yeah.
Funniest thing I have is like I have a picture of me and Roxy, but behind us is Rachel Rose, and she's flipping us both off. and I looked at the picture later. I was like, God, damn it, Rachel Rose. I posted it later, but I called her out. I was like, damn it, Rachel Rose, get out of our picture.
That's awesome.
B Ninja, thanks for joining us, man. Miranda and Roxy stole the show from me. He says, hey, as far as drinking goes, he says legal Laredo because they don't care. Yeah, you're probably right. You know.
I mean,
my wife
you
can
have
confirm-
someone at home who has some authority on that.
My wife can confirm
So-
some things. Yeah, they probably don't care about gambling. Anybody? Also, he said Piper's honeymoon is squashing a total diva. Very true. Hollywood TD, hey fellas, hey, what's up, man? Thanks for joining.
Hey, that's my boy Terry. What's up,
Yeah.
man?
Talking about Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor. So if you have any thoughts on the show, let us know. Guys, any other matches from the show that really stood out to you? I know all the hype for at least us in Texas has been about the women's championship, but
Several of them, but
yeah.
go for it.
I was gonna say on a personal level, the 6-man tag match because like we said before we started, I love this. I love this program they're building with Kenny King and Shane Taylor because it's like everything Kenny does is a personal betrayal to Shane, and he takes it personally, and I love that because it's like Shane's so petty, and I love it, and to see like O'Shea Jackson and you know Sons of Savagery and everything, you know this is what people talk about when like ROH should push them more. It's like this is a solid unit. This is a solid.
They're really
stable.
good.
They're like even without Shane Taylor there, you know, they substituted him for this match. I think they did that on purpose.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like you know they can really go. But and also what we talked about before, the pure title match I thought was just I won't say a sleeper hit, but it was like it was a lot better than even I thought it was gonna be going in.
Mike, you guys were talking about before we started. Your thoughts on the pure title because it was the one match
so-
you got right. By the way,
Right. And I wasn't intending to. I was like, because you said it too. I think I'm going to go with Gresham until
he loses.
He loses.
That's what I said. I'm going with Gresham till
He's been dominating
And
those
so,
style matches. Yeah.
You know, if y'all remembered last week, if y'all watched last week, I was just trying to guess incorrectly to see if I can go over. And this is the one I picked Josh Woods. But they were, you know, I like the story they were trying to tell because in the pure championship of the match you have the rules with the rope breaks, and they even broke down in the commentating how Josh Woods uses the fewest rope breaks compared to the amount he makes his opponent using. You know, they're kind of really getting real technical, but then they tell the story where they were so into the grappling and stuff that they cost themselves dual rope breaks because they wouldn't break in the ropes. And I know like I was telling them, the crowd was getting after the ref, but I get it, like because I get, you know, the story they were trying to tell with that. But the technical wrestling from both of them was just outstanding, and the counters and the moves, and it really was a great match, and it was a kind of an innovative finish from Woods that put him away, something you weren't really used to seeing.
It was like a German suplex from a tombstone position, which I thought should have killed somebody. I don't know who's gonna die. I was like, I don't know who's gonna die in this scenario, but technically someone should. I don't know who, but someone should be dead. So, I loved it. I think this is kind of what Gresham was building up towards all this time, was just getting more eyes on the pure division.
Yeah.
You know, and they brought this up after the first 6-man tag with Violence Unlimited and the former Pure guys.
Which was also good.
Yeah, which was amazing. Homicide in the ROH ring. I never thought I'd see it again, but I'm just happy to see it. But like Lee Moriarty, I'm like, you know, I feel bad for Ring of Honor, but I am kind of glad a Pure guy is in AEW. Between him and Daniel Garcia, they could easily just start their own kind of pure division type of wrestling, because those guys are just straight technical geniuses, you know. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry ROH lost Lee Moriarty. I am. But I'm really glad he's getting another paycheck.
Yeah.
You guys,
And then-
you guys
go
mentioned
ahead.
the pure matches and that how the fans don't always seem to know what's going on. Do you think there's something Ring of Honor can do to present that a little bit better, like keep like a scoreboard inside the arena?
I was
or
just gonna
something?
say I had one idea, like while I was watching it, they can put the rope breaks on the Tron
Yeah.
of what they have there and keep them tallied that way. But I think also the Philadelphia crowd just wanted blood, and they don't always get it.
It's Philly.
Sure.
But
It is.
I kind of hate that argument because it's not like the ECW arena never got pure wrestling. For God's sake, I can't praise Eddie Guerrero and Dean Malenko more in my life if I tried. Now I will keep praising them until the day I die. I'm never gonna stop. But I'm saying I can't do it anymore. And they had Jerry Lynn, who I don't care what anyone says, by far is one of the most underrated professional wrestlers of all time.
Definitely.
I don't care who you're in the ring with. He could pull a great match out of anybody. And so they had to go wrestling. So I'm a little agitated with the fans sometimes who think that that's all that building ever saw when it's just not true.
Right.
Yeah, although one of the biggest heels in ECW history, I believe, was Cactus Jack when he refused to do anything violent and was always
I love it.
yeah.
Man,
So
God, I love reading.
that was some of Foley's greatest work, man.
but yeah, I hope they keep the pure wrestling. I mean, famously they brought it back. It got merged with the Ring of Honor World Title at some point, but I really hope it does get brought back. It keeps going. I know it's been brought back, but they don't give up on it. They just need to make some improvements on how it's presented. That's the only thing.
Bryan Danielson was the last pure champ because he beat Nigel McGuinness to fuse the belts. I think that was in England when they did that.
Yeah.
06, I think.
Hollywood says Shane Taylor is a bad man. Abina just says Shane Taylor about to have a trial on Spaces on Twitter. So
are they doing that again? Oh my God! I listened to the Faye Jackson one, which I can't lie was hilarious. I can't lie. I was listening to the Faye Jackson one. All right, I'll listen to the Shane Taylor one.
Yeah.
I can't help it.
Any other matches you guys want to point out here before we get into our results and ratings here?
I mean, Briscoes and OGK was good.
That was a lot of
Good
fun.
for Taven and Vega too. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're just a bunch of ROH veterans putting on a great match.
Yeah.
You mentioned, yeah.
I think that was pretty much. I want to give a shout out to Jake Atlas and Taylor Rust for putting on. I thought that match was just technically just sound. I was like, for two guys who just got released, I did read Jake Atlas might be taking some time off of wrestling to pursue other stuff, and some people were thinking it's just like his kind of like disillusion with wrestling, kind of like the CM Punk way in a way.
Let's just point it out. WWE for like a month brought him front and center of NXT to praise him for being out and for supporting, the gay community.
Yep.
And then, is the Pride Month over? Gonna drop him and fire him? Yeah, that's straight up what they did. Like,
surprised, but I'm not surprised.
Let's not sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
I that did not escape my notice at all. I was like, oh yeah, so basically let's parade around the gay guy until June's over and then fire him because the gays are only around in June, not in life at all points.
They only show
it was
for a
so
month.
Stupid. It's like it's a show for a month, but it was so and the fact that's why I like this match because I know a lot of people were crapping on it before it happened because when they said they were bringing in two former WWE wrestlers to have a match and everyone crapped on it immediately. And I was like, well, let's watch the match, see how they do. And I watched it, and I was like, this is a really good. To me, that match could have easily been a number one contender's pure title match, like how it went. It was because it was so technically sound, and I was like, I can see either of these guys getting a pure title shot, which I thought they should just change the stipulation midway through and just say, hey, whoever wins is number one contender for the pure title.
For all we know, they might be after that too, the way it went down.
And for Taylor Rust, another one of those situations like, oh, he can do this? Why didn't y'all let him do that in NXT? Because if he does that in NXT, it's much more... he looked vicious. He looked like...
Well, and that was what they were going to let him do with the Diamond Mine, and then they released him like a week after he debuted with the group. I was like, what the hell? What's the point of that? Mm-hmm. And they put like two new guys in there for like no reason at all. And I was like... So the group's still going, but you just kicked out a member for literally nothing.
Vince was probably like, Rust. He's probably old. Why does he have Rust? Get rid of him. We can't have that.
Yeah. But it just says the LGBTQ fan base is a strong fan base you don't want to sleep on. Definitely.
That's
So,
true.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, we're gonna
AEW hasn't.
we're gonna get into the pick results and WrestleCast ratings here. So if you're watching it here and watching live, let us know your rating on the show 0 to 5, and we'll get to that when we get to our ratings. As for our pick results, Tina picked 2 matches this whole night. She got them right. She picked Roxy. She picked Bandito.
Dalton.
Bandito, yeah. Although I'm sure she would have picked a Dalton Castle too. But
Yeah,
we didn't pick
that.
that one. We only really picked the titles. So, so she went 2-0. Mike went 1-3. I went 2-2, and Tommy 3-1. Kind of nice how that just kind of flowed in order there, right? You know,
I'm still in shock that Josh Woods won. I was like,
so is Mike, and he picked it.
Tommy, go ahead.
I was of all the ones I picked, that was the one I was most sure was not going to be a title change. I was the most sure of that.
But you realize if it would have gone the way we assumed, you would have been perfect, and I would have been opposite perfect.
Yeah.
You would have been 4-0, and I would have been 0-4.
Josh Woods!
My nemesis.
I hope I meet him one day and tell him you kept me from going perfect.
Oh, my picks.
And he's just like, I don't know
You
what
asshole.
that means. I'll
Yeah.
tell you.
Rope break.
Hollywood TV says, damn near everyone is former somewhere. I don't know why the stigma being former WWE.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Like I said last week, anyone who says these AEW people are all former WWE, no, they're not. They're
Well,
former Ring of Honor. If you want to get technical, WWE had former Ring of Honor.
Look, this is the argument I have with someone. I said, I get that's where they're known for, but that's where WWE didn't notice them until they were in ROH or PWG or
Right.
and that's
TNA or...
That's why everyone craps on indie wrestling. I'm like, where do you literally think the Young Bucks came from? Literally, they were indie all freaking day long before anyone first saw them.
Yep.
I met, like I tell you, I met Bryan Danielson at the venue with 30.
Yes.
There were 30 of us in that building. I swear to God, there were only 30 of us in that building, and we saw Bryan Danielson versus Scott Summers.
And oh crap, who was the other dude with them?
Jacobs Pliskin.
The skinny dude who was friends with all the main.
oh
my god, I can't. Oh, it'll come back to me.
what, the short guy, Skylar Skelly?
There you go, Skylar
Yeah.
Skelly.
Yeah.
That's right. It was a
Yes.
four-way.
He was in the four-way, right.
Yeah. It was
And
the
who else did we meet there? Tyler Black, Seth Rollins was there too.
Tyler Black, Jimmy Jacobs.
Jacobs tons of times.
Yeah. Daphne,
that really-
obviously.
See, that's the stigma I have where these guys go anywhere else. There's people just hired for WWE. No, they're hiring people who want a job for one, and they're hiring people who can work for another.
To this day, Matt Seidel owes us a 2 out of 3 falls match with JT LaMotta.
Damn right.
Like a decade later, we still.
I don't care if
deserve
LaMotta's retired. He needs to come out.
Yeah,
and
me
needs to
neither.
happen. Yeah.
No, but here I was just gonna say, I bet LaMotta will come out of retirement for just that match. Like,
Probably
okay, I'll
would.
do it.
Probably
He probably
would.
would. He probably
I-
work out for like a 6 months straight.
I remember being so happy when LaMotta won that match. I remember how big of a surprise it was for everyone there. And I remember when I met Seidel afterward, just to get an autograph, take a picture. I told him, it's like, I appreciate you putting him over. You didn't have to, but he's something big here, and I thank you for doing that. So he was like, yeah, no problem. So
that was a good guy. He's a good guy though.
yes. All right, on to our WrestleCast ratings for the Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor. 0 to 5, 5 being WrestleMania 17, 0 being December to Dismember. Only Mike and Tommy are going to be rating this. I haven't seen the whole show, so I don't feel comfortable. I don't think it's fair for me to rate it. But we're going to start with Mike. 0 to 5, excuse me. What is your rating for Death Before Dishonor?
I'm gonna go 4.5.
Okay.
It was really good. Like I said, it was solid. I don't think there was anything over the top that would be like, oh my god, this is must see. But like I was telling JC earlier, there wasn't a bad match. Like there wasn't something where it's like, okay, this was the P break. Like every match was good. They ROH, you're not going to necessarily get a lot of flash, but you're going to get solid wrestling.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be great. And I was never watching it going, oh, this is boring.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm a 4.5. Really good show.
All right. Tommy, what about you?
I was originally going to give it 4.5, but I'm going to just take it a little bit higher and go 4.75 for pretty much the same reasons. But the more I think about it, it's really a show I want to go back and watch because it had another surprise that I wasn't expecting. And the main event shocked me a bit because I did not think Demonic Flamita will be able to hang in a main event show with EC3, Brody King, and Bandito. Nothing against him. I just didn't know if he was ready for that spot yet. But he played his heel role so well that I was thoroughly impressed with how much of a dick he was. Like, he was just a jackass from the time he walked out till he got eliminated.
Yeah.
And I was wildly impressed. And then when it came down to just Bandito and Brody King, I was like, I almost wish it was just this match. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the 4-way elimination. It was great. I just like when they came down to just two of them, I was just like, I want to see this rematch, man. Those two are a blast in this ring together.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and then of course poor Bandito has like no backup, while the Foundation and the Righteous all like kind of like surrounded him. I'm just like, can we get Bandito a crew again? Because this is not fair. This poor guy is outnumbered on by the good and bad guys. This isn't fair. Let him join Violence Unlimited. Who cares?
All right, that brings our overall rating for Death Before Dishonor to 4.625. Good showing, well worth the watch. You can go check it out on Fight TV. If you have an Honor Club membership, you can still purchase it. Honor Club VIP, obviously, that is free to you to go back and watch on demand. I think everyone, though, if you're from Texas, if you've been following Roxy's career, and I think a lot of us have, it's amazing that the rise of stardom she's had in such a short time. So I'm just waiting for the inevitable heel turn, and I wonder how well she's going to do with that. We haven't really seen heel Roxy yet, so.
Yeah,
you know.
I do love the outpouring of support that she got when she won. That was really cool to look all over Twitter and Facebook and Instagram to see so many people saying so many positive, encouraging things. Because, in wrestling, that's rare. So just to see so many people support her, novel concept in the sport of her, was really cool. And, it's just refreshing to see after the kind of a craptastic year it's been. So
Yeah.
Also, the character she's going to play when she does turn heel, right?
What's that?
Who?
Grizzled young vet.
Good night, everybody.
I
Let me
mean,
tell you something. In my
pro-
years in the business, Roxy, you're 22.
Well,
yeah, I know.
To be fair, between her and -1, I think they outshine even like most of the elite. Actually,
that's true. I mean, made her pro debut at 17. I think she's been trained since she was 13. So, yeah, that would be a hilarious way to be like the young, entitled millennial heel turn kind of thing.
In like 10 years, needs to be -1 and Roxy for the battle of the true prodigy of pro wrestling.
That's too funny.
My money's on Roxy if that happens in -1. Only because if -1's going through puberty, he's not going to stop staring. That's just the way I see it. So,
Well, okay.
Wow.
I
How old do you think he is in 10 years?
I don't know.
Get in puberty in his 20s?
in Mike's defense, for guys, puberty lasts a long time.
Wait, I resemble that remark.
All right.
That's okay, brother. So do I.
On to Impact. Yeah, Impact's running a show.
I've got chicks.
Victory Road is happening this weekend on Impact Plus. I like that they're putting some more Impact Plus shows out there, and it's pretty cool to see. Now, I will note that most of these Impact Plus shows, at least recently, are not live. They have been taped. I haven't seen any spoilers for this, and then again, I try to avoid spoilers where possible. But if there's any out there and you want to know, fine. But I think it is worth it still to watch.
Let me look real quick before we pick.
No, just kidding.
I was gonna say I haven't seen any, but that doesn't mean
I haven't seen it because I don't know if they had a live crowd for this filming. I know that they have some because there is an Impact Plus show that they're going to be filming this weekend in Nashville. I believe they've been advertising for a crowd to show up at Skyway Studios, but we'll get into that a little bit later.
Oh, yeah.
But Victory Road for now, there is only 5 matches advertised for this show. Who knows? They might have more later. And we're going to go ahead and pick those because these should be pretty interesting. Some of them have some interesting matchups. Some I know Tommy is going to be pretty split on, and he's going to have a hard time. So we're going to start with a tag team match. Eddie Edwards and Sami Callihan versus Moose and W. Morrissey. I think this one's a little tougher to pick because Morrissey has suffered his first loss.
It's a lot tougher to.
It is really difficult to pick.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So.
It's like a battle. It's like because he's not a Impact All-Star yet, but I can see him becoming one. It's like a battle of the Impact All-Stars almost. Except Morrissey's newer. That's all.
I feel like I'm gonna go with Moose and Morrissey. Two big guys. I really hope they play that up and just, give us something here. I mean, especially because Morrissey just took the L to Eddie Edwards.
Yeah.
Moose kind of really does need a win at this point. So,
Yeah.
what better way to do it than to put these two big guys in a tag team? And who knows? Maybe these guys are tag team champions somewhere down the line. It wouldn't be a bad tag team if they could work out together. So, I'll go Moose and Morrissey. Mike, where are you going to go with this one?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Moose and Morrissey too. I mean, Eddie Edwards and Sami Callihan are kind of
Oil and water.
Well, not just them together. I just meant they're stalwarts of Impact at this point, and they're the kind of guys that I don't think a loss would really hurt them in any way. And like you said, if there's some tension in there, they're always good to fight each other. So
And more like fire and gasoline.
And Tommy, what about you?
baseball bats and skulls. Oh.
Yeah, that could work too.
Yeah, I'll go Moose and Morrissey because I feel like nothing hurts. I feel like nothing hurts Callahan and Edwards in losing. I feel like there's just it does nothing. It's like, oh, they lost the match, big deal. They're still two of the best wrestlers in the world, and one's just more technical, and one's just super violent. That's all.
All right, next match on the card, Finjuice against the Bullet Club. Bullet Club represented by Chris Bay and Hikuleo. Tommy, is this one going to be hard for you?
It is, but I want to say Bullet Club.
Okay.
I'm just nervous because if it was Chris Bay and literally anyone else, I'd say Bullet Club, but Hikuleo might be still be giving him the young boy treatment, so it's like I don't know. So I'm very tentatively saying Bullet Club, and I'm probably wrong.
I'm actually going to go with Bullet Club because I have a weird feeling that Jay White might make a surprise appearance here and get involved with the whole David Finlay thing he's still got going on with Finjuice and whatnot. So I'm going to go Bullet Club. Mike, what about you?
I'm actually going to go Finjuice with the beatdown coming afterwards.
Oh,
I see. Okay.
They pull out the win, and then Bullet Club beats them down. That's my thought.
That seems plausible as well.
All right. Knockouts Tag Team Championship. Decay, which is Havoc and Rosemary defending against Savannah Edwards and Tasha Steelz. Steelz, it's weird seeing her in a new tag team, obviously, because Kiera Hogan has signed with AEW. Mike, where are you going with this one?
I'm gonna go with Decay because it's Decay.
Yeah.
Also, on a quick side note, does Tommy's camera look weird to anyone else, or is it just to me?
Does it look weird?
Looks fine to me.
Okay, then
Okay.
it's on my end. Then
Yeah, it
All
looks
right,
fine.
okay, but y'all can hear me, right?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine.
Okay,
So-
I don't know. Tommy's camera on my screen just looks a little weird.
It's entirely possible that something's wrong, but yeah.
No, you're good on my end.
Let's
You're
go.
good. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to say Decay as well. You know me. If a tag team actually has a name, I'm probably going to pick them rather than two people it seems they just threw together. Tommy, what about you?
Hot goth chicks. I mean, Decay. I mean,
Good.
Yeah. I mean, because
Oh.
I think Tasha and Savannah just started.
Sorry. Thanks, B Ninja. I guess I typed it wrong. Evans. Sorry, Savannah Evans. My bad. I said the wrong thing. So, my
Oh,
bad.
it's all good.
Yeah, it's all right.
But,
Go ahead.
Gosh, JC.
My bad.
It's like you work. I'm kidding.
It's been a long
Can't you do
week.
everything?
Except host the show, start the show, print out stuff for the show. Can you do anything?
No, I said, can you do everything? God.
I try. My bad. One mistake. Jesus Christ. Go ahead, Tommy. You were saying.
No, I'm just saying. I think like Savannah and Tasha are tough. It's just like I think maybe they're a bit too new, and I think they might want to kind of use this team of Decay for a little while longer because it's one of the long-standing things Impact got right, especially during their darkest of days. Decay was one of the things they got right, so
Yeah.
I'm for Decay all the time.
All right, some quick notes here. Hollywood TD says, I'm patiently waiting for God to kick the forbidden door
Yes.
down. Yep.
Oh, Grills of Destiny, yeah, G.O.D.
Yep,
Oh yeah.
G.O.D.
Oh, I thought he meant the big.
Appropriately acronymed. By the
Yes.
way, if they're going to kick the door down, right?
Now I will say this. I can't remember when the G1 starts. I think it's before the show, but I think once the G1 is over, because I think Tama Tonga is in Block B, that's probably when they'll start showing up everywhere and beating up everybody. Because
Yeah.
I still see like a few stars from other companies showing up at one of the 3 days of Wrestle Kingdom. Which yes, I wish I could go there live and see this.
Ninja also mentioned Tasha is slept on. She should go for the Knockouts title. She's spoken that there's no black KO Knockouts champion since Kong or Mia as half black. Very true. And it's interesting you say that, because I was wondering, when are they going to drop it to Deonna Purrazzo? When are they going to build up a new young knockout star to eventually challenge for that? And they haven't really started that, with Bound for Glory being a little over a month away. Who is going to come in and challenge Deonna Purrazzo? It almost feels like they're starting to look elsewhere, which,
Yeah, I assume it's going to be Mickie James to challenge her.
But, she's not a prominent wrestler, So,
you're
she'll
right.
challenge her, but it's like, okay, well, no one's going to think she'll win. At least we don't think anyway.
I figured at this point.
Wait, did you just say Mickie James is not a prominent wrestler?
No, okay, why was I gonna say this? She's part-time. She's not a full-time wrestler anymore. She works more on the executive side of things with NWA. She doesn't wrestle as much. She's more, I don't know if she's still in the schedule wanting to go for titles and whatnot. I'm not saying she couldn't win.
Vince doesn't run Impact, right? Okay. Well, you said part-timers, so just wanted to make sure.
No, I have no problem with her challenging for the title. I'm sure it'll be a great match. But I'm starting to wonder, why are we looking outside the company for challengers? You got to build somebody up, and I think B-Ninja makes a good point. Tasha still has a slept on for that.
And along those lines, just in general, I feel like Impact is not getting as much out of the AEW deal as originally it seemed like there might have been.
Yeah, that's very true.
I feel like AEW is getting most of the time, the better end of the exchange and stuff. So,
Yeah.
like, it's cool that AEW is sending over some more well-known women to face her, but you're right. Impact has women they need to start building up of their own. In a similar way that I assume, Christian has the tie to Impact even though he's under AEW contract. So they're going to build up their big guy to take it off him eventually. I would think soon, not like soon, in the next couple months.
I'm sure it'll be Bound for Glory. That seems the logical step to do that.
Yeah.
That is their WrestleMania type show. That is their big show of the year.
They could just have Undead Bride Su Young just show up and attack her as usual. I mean that story always works for me. I'm sorry, I don't care. It's like the Undertaker appearing in a casket. Yes, I've seen it a dozen times. Yes, I want to see it a dozen more. So
yeah. I feel Tasha should be the one to take it off Deonna. Deonna herself wants this match as they have trained together. Very true, very true. Now, X Division Championship, Josh Alexander is defending the title against Chris Sabin. I'm sticking with Josh Alexander only because I want him to be the guy to cash in Option C and take the title back for Impact. Take it off Christian Cage.
Fair.
That's kind of what I've been saying. I've been saying that long before Christian Cage took it off Kenny Omega. So I really still want to see Josh Alexander cash the title in for Option C and get his shot and win it.
Yeah.
So I'm going with Josh Alexander to retain the X Division title here. Tommy, what about you?
Yeah, it's really hard to bet against Josh Alexander, and like Chris Sabin, it's like he's already going down in history as one of the greatest X Division wrestlers ever. It between him and AJ Styles as far as best X Division guy.
I think you got offended because you only named those two in X Division. I was about to say there's been many great X Division.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
JC was super offended.
Sorry,
Are we still streaming, JC?
We're still going. My Discord just decided to reset on me, but we're good.
Okay.
Keep going. That was so
I
weird.
thought you were offended by Tommy only saying there's been two good X Division guys.
No.
I was like, he's not including Christopher Daniels or Samoa Joe or
I was explaining.
That was so weird. I'm so sorry.
or Homicide or
Start that up over again. My bad. I don't know what happened. It just suddenly went. All right.
So what I was saying was, he's in the top tier with AJ Styles and everyone else might just name because I'm not going to get to the names now. But Josh Alexander is making a solid case to be in that name too. And I think they might be kind of scheduling something like that because I think him and Christian interacted a little bit backstage or something like that. And also I think the company puts a lot of stock in Josh Alexander because of how they book him, how they talk about him, how they present him. So yeah.
Well, yeah, I was going to call it the Josh Gresham rule, but never mind. But I guess I'm sticking with Josh Alexander the same way until he loses.
It's the Deanna Prazo rule at this point.
We can't call it the Deanna Prazo rule.
All right, I'll go with that, I guess. Now watch her lose this weekend in an impromptu match. No,
that would suck. An unadvertised match.
That would absolutely suck.
Yeah.
To Roxy.
Well, maybe that wouldn't suck as bad. That'd be a shock. Nothing against Roxy, but win 2 titles in less than a week. Like, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on here? So
grizzled young vet, I'm telling you.
All right, and finally, Impact World Championship. Christian Cage defending against Ace Austin. I'm just gonna say Christian Cage. Like I said, my thought is that Josh Alexander's gonna be the one to take it off Christian Cage. So I'm sticking with that. Tommy, I know you love Ace Austin.
Yeah.
Where do you see this going? How are you predicting this one? What you got?
I gotta go Christian Cage. I really do. It's like if it was on Bound for Glory, I would absolutely say Ace Austin. I really would. But an Impact Plus show, I would like to see it happen. I just don't think it will.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go with Christian Cage, but Ace, dude. I want to see him when it's so bad.
All right, Mike. What about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Christian. I mean, having him take the title off Omega, even though it was really, in a sense, more about their feud in AEW, you have the tie with Christian always to Impact and TNA, and I agree. I think when you take it off him, it needs to be a big deal, and not that these little Impact Plus shows aren't a big deal, but you need to do it at a big one. If you're going to use Christian in this manner. So, yeah, I mean, I think Christian will retain. I'm sure Austin will look great. I'm sure Christian will, do his best to kind of put him over and make him look like he's a serious threat at a few moments to get that pin. But, in the end...
And there's always Madman Fulton, who's just hanging around.
Well, yes, of course.
Of course.
Do you think Tomko comes back to even the odds?
Someone mentioned that in the comments of when he first confronted Ace Austin, and I was like, oh man, I wish that could happen.
I wonder where he is. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
I don't know where Tomko is. Good question.
Well, that is our preview of Impact Victory Road. Stay tuned towards the end of the show. We'll have all the details on how you can watch that this weekend. It's going to be a Saturday show. Now talking a little bit of news, mostly WWE and mostly how they're reacting to Raw not getting the ratings that Dynamite got, the start of Monday Night Football.
Oh my God!
Well, the first thing I'll start off, I guess we'll kind of go in chronological order, if you will, here. Now, I mentioned last week as we almost went off on the show that I had thoughts on the Demon coming back. And we got that confirmed. Demon Balor's back. He showed up on Friday. And it's exciting to see, but I know where this is going. And I'm not completely happy about it because...
New Universal Champion, the Demon.
I would be happy with that, but this is Vince McMahon booking this shit, and he's going to make Roman Reigns be the first person to beat the Demon and even make him stronger. Who was the first?
Second. Samoa Joe.
He beat him
in
as
NXT.
Demon?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
okay. In a cage or something?
God, everybody forgets that match.
Yeah, he beat him once.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
well, second. First on the main roster, I guess you could say.
According to Vince McMahon, it will be the first time.
It will be the first time.
I was just going to say, according to Vince, this will be the first time.
That's true, because now it's NXT 2.0, so we don't even talk about anything prior to 2.0.
Demon was never on 2.0. What are you talking about?
God, I hate that.
I hate it too. I hate it too. And the same day they revealed the new iPhone, like, what is this? Every year you're going to make it 3.0, 4.0, the 5 Plus?
And like I said before, you just fired 2.0.
Yeah. So that's my. I mean,
they were everized, so.
Never.
No, I was talking about this with Tina. She seems to think, you know what they could do? They could have this match going on, you could have Brock Lesnar show up, squash it. It's a DQ. Demon Balor technically wins, but then I'm thinking in my head, yeah, but this is Extreme Rules. They're supposed to put a stipulation on it, some sort of stipulation on every match. Who knows if this will be no DQ or whatever, So it's
these are always the lamest Extreme Rules, though.
Oh, I agree, but most of the time Extreme Rules has been we put a stipulation.
You can use stairs. Ooh, come on, man.
In Tina's defense, I mean, we saw a no contest finish to Hell in a Cell.
Right.
I know, but I don't know. I'm
sorry. I am never letting that go. That just killed.
So one thing I heard, though, and I'll mention this because we're talking about it with Balor, which I think would be a cool story if he loses, where it's almost like a Hulk Banner thing, where the Demon's upset that he's losing and that Finn Balor is losing, and it's almost like him fighting dual personalities of the Demon wants to take over more, so Finn, I think it was a really interesting idea. It was like, I don't know if they could pull it off, but if they could, that would be a really cool story. But,
So kind of Bray Wyatt, but not really. The two.
Well, because Bray Wyatt was never fighting with himself, though. He was just two different people at two different times, basically.
Yeah.
This would be the Demon getting mad at Balor for losing more often, and wanting to take over permanently. It was an interesting story idea, and I don't know if WWE would do that because, all they seem to care about is Reigns anyways on SmackDown.
It's true. It's true. So, Yeah. So, I mean, from the entrance part of it, and they picked a good show to do it. It was Madison Square Garden. They knew that was going to pop the crowd. They did a good job with that. But, it was weird to me watching that on SmackDown and seeing Lesnar as a face. And, that kind of thing. But, I don't know. I feel like the Demon thing it's great. I'm happy. It's been missing for far too long. But I don't know if I like it coming back in this scenario, only because I feel like they're going to find a way to screw it up.
JC, were you planning to do the 1 minute warning we talked about over the weekend after Friday?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I still am. Mm-hmm.
So cool.
Yeah. So I'm still going to talk about that.
So one thing I am disappointed with Daniel Bryan going to AEW, him and Brock Lesnar could have come back as Banner and the Hulk. They have the exact same haircuts, and one looks like one on steroids.
Yep. So very true.
I mean, yeah, he did leave a count at the wrong time.
It's like how he looks in high school, how he looks now, kind of thing, right? So,
right before you're on the juice.
Yeah.
How it started, how it's going.
So, some other news that's just interesting timing. Samoa Joe did announce that he had to relinquish the NXT Championship due to injuries. Didn't elaborate, but people are wondering, was this part of this whole NXT 2.0 thing? Is he legit injured? Is it more because he was hired as more of an administrative role and they just used his character to get the title off Karrion Kross? I don't know.
I think the thing makes it suspicious is it wasn't a specific injury. If you watch the video, he kind of alludes to the medical staff wanted him to take some time to a few things. It was just the way he worded it. So look, if Samoa Joe is hurt with legit injuries, then by all means, I hope you get better. Take the time to recover.
Yes, obviously.
It's just we've watched wrestling long enough. We know they'll lie to us for storyline purposes. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that this was all storyline because the timing was just so ridiculously convenient. It wasn't even funny how convenient, or maybe not convenient, but how it lined up. So, And
it's a shame because take nothing away from the 4-way match we got on NXT tonight. It was really good. And Ciampa ends up winning. So Tommaso Ciampa is the new NXT champion. But that match was originally scheduled to be for the number one contender, and Ciampa versus Joe would have been amazing, at a future show.
For sure.
Hollywood TD says, quote, injuries, and also says he just didn't want to be a part of this new crap. It is a job, and when they announced that McMahon and Triple H wasn't going to be so much involved in the booking or possibly even the running of NXT, I don't know what kind of role he has. And by the way, I'm glad he's recovering. He had to have a heart procedure done for a genetic heart condition, but
that was kind of scary.
Yeah, makes you feel old, right? If he's not involved, he's the guy that wanted Joe back for NXT, and if he's not involved anymore, how much longer is Joe going to have on the roster before he's another budget cut again?
Right.
So.
For what it's worth, I did hear over the week as the story kind of came out more that Vince and Bruce Pritchard are kind of overseeing the bigger picture of things, and so like Triple H didn't have any say in the 2.0 redesign, the coloring, the new logo, but they still kind of have control over things as long as Vince and they made it sound like Pritchard is a big part of it, kind of, because if you watched it tonight, and I had it on, everything they did, even with the older NXT guys, all of a sudden a new person was in the story.
Right.
All these new guys, and look, there's Baby Steiner, Rick Steiner's son, who for some reason is not Steiner yet, even though I thought I heard they were changing his name. So I hope it comes soon.
I heard that too, so I don't know.
But he literally challenged LA Knight at the beginning of the show and beat him, which was weird because LA Knight was in the 4-way later. And then at the very end of the show, after the amazing wedding, he comes to stare at Ciampa with the belt. So they threw a new guy into the 4-way with Kyle O'Reilly being injured. There were just new guys all around. There's still some of the people that have
screw over Kyle O'Reilly. Sorry. It's just...
how long can you count? So.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. It's. I mean, if Triple H is still booking the creative or still that kind of booking this stuff, maybe with Regal's help, sure. But like you said, the bigger picture. Are they going to start?
And it's their young guys and their PC guys. So.
Yeah. Are they going to start influencing who goes over as champion, who does this and that? It's,
I think so. Obviously, so
they're the owners, and then like from an NFL thing, Triple H is the GM. He's getting them to run the plays, or he's the coach, if you will. That kind of thing. So.
Although I do have to say
he said because Triple H knows if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Agreed.
Yeah, if it ain't, it wasn't until they said let's break it.
Yeah.
Well, they did demolish AEW the ratings, so they lost. But
who gives a? Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say the Index wedding, that was great, but that was kind of like Switzer winning a Super Bowl with Jimmy's Cowboys. You can't give that to 2.0. That was already in the works for a couple months. So
and winning a title in spite of that, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh my God! I just figured out what this feels like to me. Why I'm so mad.
What?
It feels like whenever the DC universe hits a brick wall, so they just reboot the entire universe. They've done this like 8 times already.
So every movie they bring out, or
I wish it was just the movies. I'm talking about the comics, man. Like Crisis of Infinite Earths, Infinite Crisis, Final Crisis, this crisis, that crisis, your mama's crisis. I don't know. I'm just like, dude, can we just stop and just stick with the stories we started?
Now that you said it, I want to see a DC.
Crisis.
I just want to see a DC animated movie of Yo Mama's Crisis. I really do want to see that now. Coming soon to HBO Max. Can't wait.
And there'll be one person from the Snyderverse in there, and then people will say, "Bring it back, bring it back."
Yeah.
Now that's intrigued. I really need to see if there is a Yo Mama's Crisis DC comic book. That's interesting. Just kidding.
There's gotta be.
Other changes here. Obviously, the biggest one that was the talk of yesterday, and this was interesting how this went down. Big E cashed in his Money in the Bank contract, defeated Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship.
That was great. I will give them their props. That was fantastic. Mm-hmm. So,
and I'm happy for Big E. Don't get me wrong. I really am, because for all the years he's been there, when he got put with the New Day faction, he was in the corner for AJ Lee. With Dolph Ziggler and everything like that. Yeah. He was always kind of the quiet guy, but he's been great. He's shown his charisma so much. He's great on the New Day podcast. So for him to win this, and it's the way it went down, though, because during the day he just came out and said flat out, I'm cashing in tonight.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I get why they did that, because then you get everybody to watch.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like you could have made it. And there was also one little thing that bugged me. If you're going to hotshot this because you're reacting and you want to put Big E over, then you don't need to make Lashley act hurt. Lashley needed to take, again, I know it's a cash-in, so he just was in a match or whatever, but, he attacked Orton and Riddle afterwards, and then hurt his leg, like choke slamming them into a table. So then he kind of played like he was injured. And I get it, because then it makes it easier to pin him, but if you're going to put Big E over, then put him over. Like, I know no one cares now, he's a champ, people will forget, but to me, I was like, why does he have to pretend to be hurt? Let him take the loss. That makes Big E super legit. Cash-ins are always like that. But to also add the injury in there, like, come on. But I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
He deserves it. Everyone was, singing his praises from all companies.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like it was like across the board. Like every company was singing Big E's praises. And I want to bring up two things about because when he first came in, he was like the super tough guy, didn't say much. But after he won the IC title, he posted that video and said, "When you're Intercontinental Champion, things are just better." He just walked out, "Things are just better." It was like that old commercial. And then someone replayed the video. They said, "We can finally get the Big E Goldberg match. Just you forget your 5-star classics, your 30-minute technicals, just two big men slapping me."
That video from their podcast is one of my favorite videos of all time. Like if you ever need to laugh, because it makes it so much better that they're such close friends, and they start cracking up before he's even done, because they know where he's going and what he's doing, and oh my god, it's just a video. Like you can't help but break out laughing.
My favorite was Xavier. He was dying.
Yes, he was.
That whole time. He was dying that whole time.
And I love it because Big E can't even get it out. He's like, two big men slapping. He's
just slapping me. Forget your 30-minute classics, your 5-star matches. There's two big men slapping me. And I was like, oh my god.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen this video, go to YouTube and look it up.
Just search it. Not right now, after the show. Just go search it.
It'll make your day guaranteed 175% better.
Yeah, you'll probably be crying laughing by the time he gets to you. You'll be like Xavier Woods, just falling off your chair, just in tears laughing, because Big E is so stupid. And it's like all their videos, and see that, okay, this goes back to what we've been saying for years. I love how they did this, and they've never broken up the New Day, not completely. Yeah. And I hope that continues. I agree. Do not ever want to see that. We've seen enough tag teams have to break up because somebody's jealous. No, it's like what Kofi said back, a couple years ago. It's like I had my turn, now it's yours. And a friend of mine said, now all we need is Xavier Woods to win a world title. And I was like, yes, because I am sick of people saying he's not good enough. Screw y'all.
Oh my god, the matches he's had the last year.
Yeah,
amazing.
He's right now. He's the New Day's Heath Slater. He's the only one that has not won the World Championship. So,
oh my god,
think about that.
New Day versus 3MB. Winner gets the title for either Xavier or for Heath Slater. There we go.
That's a true battle of the bands right there. Someone booked that.
Book it for Mania, baby.
Hey, if it's in Texas, we'd be there. I'd be down for
that.
Yes.
Now, I read one of the original plans was for Big E to actually cash in when they did WWE Draft Night, which was slated to be in October. They just announced that. But why the panic? Why the rush? Well, lo and behold, Dynamite actually scored a higher rating win in a key demographic than WWE's Monday Night Raw this past week. And the key demographic, obviously the 18 to 49, when most people spend their money on this kind of stuff. So that's why it seemed like they got into a panic. And also because this is the start of the football season, the first Monday Night Football game of the year. And for whatever reason, WWE has to seem to think that they have to put something out there so people will watch. When the game last night actually was pretty good, So I don't know.
My question is, why aren't you always trying to put out something that people want to watch?
Yes.
Like I know we crap on WWE so much, but it used to be a fun show to watch it didn't feel like the same thing repeated over and over and over. And I know that's why they made some of these changes. But even Orton versus Lashley, I know it's been a while since they fought, but like they've been at the top of Raw for a while now, and I like Orton, but it's just the same thing with him every time, you know. And even his thing with Riddle is kind of fun, but
it's interesting because this match was slated for Extreme Rules in a couple weeks,
right?
But they moved it up on the side of this panic. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Because when I saw it, I was thinking I thought this was for Extreme Rules. Why is it happening? Thank you for clarifying that, because I thought I was just tripping.
No. That was rumored over the weekend. They were moving this up.
Actually, what happened was Orton said, "Why should we wait 2 weeks to fight? Let's fight tonight." And then he insulted him, and he said, "Okay, let's do it." Something like that.
So it is what it is.
But see, here's the funny part. I actually like it when that storyline happens, but when it's so obvious as to why you're doing it,
I like it when the rivalry has been established for a longer period of time.
You know, that is they're making these changes and stuff like that. Now, technically, Big E is still on SmackDown. I would think he'll be moved over to Raw, reunited with the New Day. We hope. So that they're going to have one title each. But technically, he is a SmackDown talent. I'm sure he's going to be appearing on Raw next week to set up who he's defending his title against at Extreme Rules. But right now, SmackDown holds the WWE Champion and the Universal Champion. So,
yeah.
On a technicality.
And one more thing on Big E. Everyone, saying he has to be more serious. No, I say the opposite. Like Kofi. Just go crazier. Just go more over the top with everything. You're the champ, man.
Yeah.
You got the belt now. You do whatever you want.
Let him just give him an open mic and let him ride with his promos. Just
be like the way Roman runs SmackDown. Run Raw, but in the most ridiculous way possible. That's what I want to see out of Big E.
Yeah.
That was always my thing. It was like he needs to change to I guess they were to get over, to draw. I was like, I mean, the guys that have been drawing and getting over for the past 6 years with the dumbest gimmicks ever. Do you know that when Bootios was actually a thing in cereal, I could not find it for the longest time, and I actually looked, and I was like, out of curiosity, let me see if I can find this cereal, and no one had any because the stuff was actually sold out. So no, they're already over, and it's like what Hollywood said earlier. It's like you don't have to fix what's not broken. He's not broken. The dude already works with the fans. He's over. There's no reason to change that. What do they think that he possibly needs to do differently to be popular with the fans when everyone already wears New Day shirts, they dance to their music, pancakes probably were probably going off the shelf so kids could eat like the New Day.
Quoting his intro too, when he announces it. Yeah.
Because and all that there's nothing you need to change about the guy because he's already over. This would be like if Daniel Bryan getting over with the Yes movement and then suddenly making music completely different, which they tried several times but never worked. So
and we've talked about this before, but it just seems more times than not WWE is determined not to give the fans what they want. We've talked about some of the other stuff and how AEW with some of their recent shows has just had fun. They've been in hometowns and let the hometown people get over instead of the WWE thing for the longest time where if we go to your hometown, you got to lose, and not only lose but get embarrassed.
Yeah.
AEW was just in Cincinnati, and not only did Pillman Jr. come out, Mox came out to save him, so the two Cincinnati boys, Britt Baker in Pittsburgh, CM Punk in Chicago. And Tony Khan came out and said we can't always do these fairy tale things, but it's okay to give fans what they want sometimes. I feel like WWE has worked so hard to be like, oh, that's what you want, that's not what we're going to give you. You're going to like this instead. It's like, you keep doing that, that's why fans turn against you. I mean, it's okay to give them what they want every now and then and what they enjoy.
Hollywood mentions also New Day really wasn't supposed to get over, and that's true. It was it was a joke gimmick they threw. Let's just throw these guys in here, give them the preacher thing, and see what happens.
Another thing with that is it's like it's kind of what piggyback what Mike was saying is like also guys who get over when they're not supposed to always seem to get punished for it, like Zack Ryder and Rusev. Rusev Day was massive. You almost couldn't keep those shirts in stock that Rusev Day was so popular. That would have been the perfect time to make him world champion, and no one did anything about that backstage. And that was such a waste of a massive push. And like, I couldn't believe they didn't do it.
But I mean, in all fairness, now he just thanks the Lord for his flexible wife and for being the.
But can you blame him for that?
No, not really, not at all.
Honestly, that's something to give God praise for, if you ask me. It's like if you're gonna praise the Lord, hey.
Speaking of praising the Lord, if you saw the Index wedding tonight, you saw that Beth Phoenix got ordained and finished the wedding. She also just tweeted that she also does funerals and exorcisms.
Oh.
So she is available if you need a funeral
So she brought Adam Cole back.
Makes sense. That was a great BT episode, by the way. So.
Oh man, I laughed so hard. Super Dragon.
Now, on the non-WWE related front, Impact did announce their next Impact Plus show will be taking place October 9th, and it is the Knockouts Knockdown. It's taping this weekend, all-women's show. They did confirm Mercedes Martinez is going to be a part of it.
Yes.
So pretty damn
awesome. Good for her.
It's taping in Nashville Skyway Studios Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. As I understand, there is going to be a crowd there for it as well, and you can see it on Impact Plus October 9th. I'll also mention one thing that's on the agenda that I just want to say that all is right in the world again. Toru Yano has reclaimed the provisional King of Pro Wrestling Championship from Chase Owens. All is right in the world. I'm so happy for him. Don't screw this up, New Japan, okay?
Hey, CM Punk returns, Daniel Bryan, Adam Cole go to AEW, Toru Yano wins the King of Pro Wrestling.
You know, I can see the Gorillas losing a tag title. I can see Okada losing a Wrestle Kingdom. It's okay. But if Toru Yano is not the King of Pro Wrestling, there's something wrong with your booking, New Japan. I'm just going to say that right now. Okay?
Real quick before we go on to back to the Knockouts show you were just talking about. We also want to mention that they announced an inaugural Daphne Monsters Ball match in her honor. So I wasn't quite sure if it was just this one-time show or it's something they would like an annual thing that would be every year. But either way,
it should be good.
Just really cool.
Yeah.
And as we continue, there's just so many people still just sharing their stories and sending out their love to her. So still good to see. How many people she really did affect. So
it's pretty amazing. Hollywood says Mount Rushmore is coming. Mark my words. Yeah, we've seen the rumors out there. Kevin Owens' contract is up at the end of January, which, by the way, means he would not be available for the Royal Rumble. Everyone seems to forget this, that because the NFL has actually added an extra game, it pushes everything back a week. And WWE has always tried to put the Rumble during the break between the Conference Championship weekend and the Super Bowl. So basically Pro Bowl Sunday, when nobody watches the Pro Bowl anyway. They put the Rumble there that weekend. So the first weekend of February is when the Royal Rumble is going to be slated to happen. And unless Kevin Owens extends his contract a la Adam Cole to get through the Rumble, his contract expires January 31st of 2022. I should also mention that apparently Sami Zayn's expires at the end of this year.
As does Gargano, apparently.
Gargano's expires December 3rd of 2021. Right. So, now, of those three, I don't particularly see Gargano leaving, only because he's kind of tied to Candice LeRae. I don't know what her contract situation is. And she's also pregnant. She had the baby bump there at the wedding, too, today. And I think for them, it's a little more financial stability if they're in a place they're familiar with. They don't have to uproot and everything. Yeah. They're about to bring. She's due in February. It's gonna be hard for them to have to leave their situation. And if he can re-sign a contract and get a good offer, like don't just lowball him or something like that, but give him a good enough contract offer. Don't insult the guy. He's your link between old NXT and new NXT, and he can.
Yeah, but that's what I was gonna say. It kind of depends on what his position is in 2.0.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, but. I think even if he let it expire, I think any one of those other places would pick him up, even temporarily, even just to get him, through February or whatever for Candice.
Impact would be a good fit for him too, by the way. So yeah.
Yeah. So obviously he has, decisions to make, and I obviously wouldn't. begrudge him to stay there, but kind of depends on what they see of 2.0 going. Because, like I said, if you watch the show tonight, I know it's the first one, but they are putting those young guys up there front and center. Yeah. Even some in the main event who didn't look like they needed to be in the main event yet.
And it was a good show tonight. But the real test is always, well, how about week 2?
Yeah.
The first show is always great, but how are you going to go from there? So,
yeah, that's true.
I'm trying to think, was there anything else? Oh, one other tidbit. This has been apparently rumored. So if you recall in the post all-out press conference, Bryan Danielson mentioned that he did get a generous offer from WWE and allowing him to work outside the company for a few things. Reports have come out that they actually we're going to put in his contract, allow him to go wrestle in the G1 either this year or next year in New Japan. WWE actually had that on the table as part of a contract offer to keep Daniel Bryan in WWE. But he ultimately obviously decided to leave and go to AEW, wanted a little more freedom, wanted to wrestle some new talent. And I think it's fair to say we can pretty much see Bryan Danielson either this year or next year taking part in the G1 out in Japan, which we all
think it can be this year.
Huh?
I think
it's pretty close to where it starts, right? It's supposed to start next month or something.
I think so. I think it's been next year.
Yeah.
But I want to. I don't know if you guys saw. I think Tony Nese tweeted out. He said, I think because he got released as well. I think he tweeted out something like, "I can't wait to not have to wrestle the same person every week."
I did see that. Oh, another thing I forgot.
Yes.
Going back to the Big E and Lashley thing, Cedric Alexander tweeted after that. I bet you wish you had backup now, huh? I was like, okay, that was funny.
That's good.
That was funny.
I did see that.
That's so good.
Yeah, I was like, okay, props to that one. I like that.
Definite props for that. That is definitely so good. I'm so happy you did that.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Talk about guys that just got thrown to the side for no reason.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. With that, we'll move into the segment we call the 1 minute warning. For those new to the show, this is a chance for each of us to kind of get a minute to talk about whatever we want to talk about. It's wrestling related, most of the time. Sometimes it's not. Mike, do you have something this week?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes or no? I'm sorry, I couldn't understand.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
All right. Whenever you're ready, 3, 2, 1, and.
Yeah, I kind of talked about this last week, and we kind of talked about this week, but I just kind of want to reiterate, like, it's okay to have fun in wrestling, right? We talked about in last week how fun it was for Punk to come back, to have a match for Daniel, for Adam Cole and then Bryan Danielson to show up. But also even tonight, as much as I was weary of 2.0, and not that I have anything against the young guys and their PC guys, but you're going to have to learn these guys because they don't have the background of indie that a lot of NXT has had for a long time. But the Index wedding, the ending of that was hilarious. It was fun. And like we said, I'm really glad that the wedding did not end in bad for either of them because in a weird way, like, it's a really cool story, and I really like the way they pulled it off. Mm-hmm. But again, it's okay to have fun in wrestling, And yeah, like, we watched ROH, and that was a pretty serious show, pretty serious wrestling. That was cool. And that was an awesome show. But also, it's okay to have fun and to do silly things. Big E again. I hope Big E goes insane with his antics, and hope he gyrates and rolls down the ramp and all the things he's been doing for the last 5-6 years. Because it's fun. And you go to wrestling for the stories and stuff, but if you can't have fun at some point, I mean, then it becomes, boring. So thanks to all those individual things that were fun in wrestling the past couple weeks from both sides, from all shows. And, I just hope we can keep doing some of those things. So.
Yeah, you mentioned the fan reaction when Dexter Lemus actually got on the mic and said, "I do."
The
fan reaction was
that was funny too. So. And then the wrestlers like, wait.
Hollywood, I see what you typed out. When we finish 1 minute warning, I will call that out. I promise you. So, Tommy, do you got something this week?
I do.
All right, ready, set, and go.
Okay, so going back to Ring of Honor for me, Shane Taylor tweeted out something about like the Ring of Honor world title should be in the talk of the most prestigious world titles of all time. I mean, I've been preaching that for the past 10, 15, 20 years, but whatever. But he's right, because I I get people who don't like some of ROH's like past business practices and whatnot, but then again, it's a wrestling company. We can say that about literally every wrestling company. It doesn't mean their titles should suffer. It's like it doesn't mean just because the business their company has had some crap dealings in the past. That's not on the wrestlers all the time. It's usually just on management. Sometimes management of your company just sucks. Hello, WWE. Anyway, but for ROH, no. Like the ROH World Title should be in top contention of that conversation. Samoa Joe, Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, Nigel McGuinness, Roderick Strong, Austin Aries. Like almost everyone who is a big deal now has had that belt at least once. Seth Rollins, I remember his title reign, and David Richards was making a comeback. Eddie Edwards, who won it out of almost nowhere. I remember that storyline. But it's like if we're gonna talk about world titles, it's fine to talk about all these belts. They're great. I have no problem with especially I have no problem with the company putting over their own title. They're supposed to. But among fans, the ROH World Title has to be in top contention as one of the best belts still going. Whether you like the company or not, that's not the point. The matches and the quality of that championship are what matters. So I think I'm gonna talk about more of this on my YouTube show probably this coming weekend. I've been thinking about that for like a week now, so I might go ahead and do that. So
cool. Hollywood, by the way, that show that you mentioned there, if you want to put any more details about what time and when or where it's happening, definitely please put that up there, and I'll definitely call it out here on the stream. As for me, my 1 minute warning, and Mike knows what I'm about to talk about here, is that I think it is time for Zelina Vega, aka Thea Trinidad, to ask for her release. As great as Friday's SmackDown was, and there was a lot to be good about it was great to see it back in Madison Square Garden, they dropped the ball on one very, very important thing. It's the day before 9/11, the 20th anniversary of September 11, 2001. And Thea Trinidad, Zelina Vega's father, passed away 20 years ago during that tragedy. She's from New York. She's mentioned on the podcast. I believe she reverse revealed it on Lillian Garcia's podcast whenever she was on there a year or two ago. And that's supposed to be something major. For her to be wrestling on live TV in Madison Square Garden 20 years after the passing of her father, you missed a big opportunity, WWE. Of all the matches that you had to cut that night, that's the one you decided to cut. I might argue that could have been the main event of the show. But yes, Demon Balor, Brock Lesnar. Again, Brock Lesnar taking a spot from somebody when he's hardly ever there. You missed a golden opportunity for this. And that match means so much more to somebody. And I know she signed with WWE thinking she was still going to have her husband there, and she wanted to be back on the road with him. And obviously they cut him. The no-compete part of it is funny, but now he's doing well as Malachi Black. But at this point, just let her go. Just let her go. Because she can do so much more elsewhere, and you're not even using her right. And Friday was a prime example of that. To everyone who has friends or family that were affected by the attacks on September 11th, especially Thea Trinidad, whose story is insanely heartbreaking. We're all still mourning. But for people like you that have just kept on enduring and kept on going on, it is pretty amazing to see. And just know that you are appreciated somewhere, even if it's not for the people that you work for. So, golden opportunity, but I really do hope to see Thea Trinidad join her husband in AEW, hopefully very, very soon. That being said, thank you.
That and her outfit was sick. I'm mad about that. I got so much more pissed when I saw she had a full-on Akatsuki themed outfit, and I was like, "Damn you, Vince!"
Also, she was literally at the ceremony the next day, reading names as part of that whole big thing. I can't.
Golden opportunity. It's sad to say, but it's like golden right there. And
it's an easy booking decision.
Yeah. Also, because they also made the big deal, and they've always made the big deal about they were the first mass gathering 2 days later at SmackDown. I think they even did
3 days later.
I think they put on Peacock.
Because SmackDown was supposed to tape that night in Houston. They just moved it to Friday, and Houston was the first live show.
Right. It was the first thing. It was the first mass gathering in America after 9/11. And they've always made a big deal about that. They brought something out on the network about it over the weekend. I don't understand how you miss that and give her that opportunity. Like it just and when I was watching the show, they did do a funny thing where Sami Zayn was at Nick's gear and then he brought out Trae Young in MSG, which I got to admit
funny.
Was just an amazing troll for New York and just put all the heat on Sammy. But like you said, there was something else that should have been cut. Not could have been cut, should have been cut. So, yeah, I agree.
Hollywood, thank you. Amen about Thea, definitely. It's just a goal opportunity that they missed. Now, Hollywood put in here, Hybrid Experience is actually this Saturday featuring Jimmy Wang Yang and Matt Vandergriff. It's going to be taking place at the Hybrid School of Wrestling. Doors are at 7, bell time's at 8 o'clock, and that's off Bandera and Eckert Road in Leon Valley this Saturday evening. If you're in town, go check it out. Hybrid Experience is pretty cool. See where you can see a lot of the students at the Hybrid School of Wrestling are training. It's a great way to support the school. Mask up. I believe masks are required there for that.
Not they're required, but they're encouraged.
They're definitely encouraged. And let's keep everybody safe, please. We're not out of the woods yet.
The school is like it's like when you go down Eckerd, if you're coming from Mandera, like from Huebner, it's you make a left. It's gonna be on the left hand side. It's just one of the many gyms and stuff they have on
right across from UPS.
Right across from UPS. Yeah, that's right. The UPS is right there. Right?
Is Jay ready to go back and reclaim his title?
I did mention that to Richie Garcia, by the way, and he said he had no problem kicking a 4-year-old, but let's see if Jay can handle that. So
he can take him.
I think Jay could take him. Jay could definitely take him. Yeah. So he's constantly working on his 450 off his bed onto the floor. Let me tell you, it feels like it almost. His swing is getting better too. So if he shows up with a baseball bat, Richie's in trouble.
Hey, no DQ street fight. Richie Garcia.
Yeah, I mean he'll already be looking Richie eye to eye anyway.
For those wondering what we're talking about, I'm waiting for the video to come out. But during a Richie Garcia match of the Hybrid Experience, I think this was 2 years ago, my son, we got quiet, like, how do you like that, Richie? And there's Richie and a 2-year-old boy going back and forth arguing. And my son had no fear. I was so proud. I was so proud. So
we all
yeah.
He proved he was your child at that moment.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Like, yep, there's JC's kid right there.
All right, on to this other weekend show if you want to watch on Impact Plus. Saturday, September 18th, Impact Victory Road. Was filmed in Nashville, Tennessee at the Skyway Studios. It's going to start airing at 7 p.m. Central Time on Impact Plus, and of course, it's available on demand shortly after it premieres as well. So check it out. Check out Impact Plus. There's such an extensive library, and it's pretty amazing to see what they got in there. There's so many great memories in there too, believe it or not. So pretty cool. Pretty interesting to see what's going to happen this Thursday on Impact 2 to set that up as well. So as for us, our Twitter account is at @CCG_WrestleCast. Let us know your thoughts on Death Before Dishonor, on Impact Victory Road, and if you went to the Hybrid Experience, let us know how that show was for you. You can tweet it at us. Leave a comment here if you're checking this out afterward. Hollywood, thank you for the comment. Great still, guys. Thanks for live messaging along with us. Same to you, B Ninja, Steady, Burnsy. We do really appreciate it. We try to be here every Tuesday unless something else crazy is going on in lives, but we'll try to stay on top of things on Twitter and just let you guys know. That's kind of to follow the latest with us. And guys, thank you again for coming to this as always.
As always.
I will note, as far as 9/11 goes, the best tribute I saw this weekend was the Texas State football team jerseys and helmets. They had the Twin Towers like into the Bobcat logo, and on the strip, the helmet stripe, they had the names of the 19 Texas natives or Texas residents that were passed away at 9/11 20 years ago. They had their names on there. Was featured prominently on ESPN's College Game Day, and they ended up winning on the road in overtime against Florida International. So.
Nice.
Bobcats and Runners won, and that was the good news for football in the Thea household this past weekend because one of our teams lost. So not fun, but anyway. Thank you everyone again for joining us. We do appreciate it. Down here we got Tommy.
Thanks, guys.
We got Mike.
Thanks, guys. Be good to each other.
And I'm JC, and as always, heels and baby faces, remember, Pro wrestling is real. People
People
are
are
fake.
fake.
We'll see you next week.